17-13, the Raiders defeated the Green Bay Packers in Week 5 NFL competition in a game where the Raiders tried everything imaginable to give us the ball. They did everything conceivable to tell us they don't want to score. We don't even want the ball. Take it. Take it from us. And the Packers from Green Bay said, we don't know what to do with it. Take it back. 17-13. The good news is that the Packers showed up to play NFL football against the Raiders. The bad news is the Packers showed up to play NFL football against the Raiders. And it's the Packers we've become accustomed to. The Packers with no pulse on offense. No rhythm to anything they're doing. No consistency. The opposite of consistency is the definition of the Packers right now. And there's only so much that the defense can do. If you put all of that weight on someone's back, eventually that back is gonna break. And you see that now with the Packers defense. The only bright spot in Green Bay's 2023 season has been our defense. And last night you saw what happens when that much weight is on their shoulders, on their backs, game after game, quarter after quarter, drive after drive. Quay Walker, gone with a knee injury. Savage, gone with a calf injury. And this is just the beginning. How many times is the offense going to say, we tried. The defense will give us the ball back. Well, in that second half last night, after the third quarter started out pretty good. Interception from the jump. The defense still came out in the second half, rocking out. But you started to see the wear and tear, and the offense didn't want to do anything to get up off their asses to help out the defense. 17-13. The saddest part is that was another winnable game for anybody else in the NFL. Because the Raiders are just not a good team. That's not even shade. The Raider fans will tell you they're not a great team this year. They're not even a good team. Maybe they could be. I don't follow the Raiders. They'll tell you that. Their fans will tell you that. But I know going into this game, Raider fans were telling everybody, we're not a good team. What we found out last night is the Packers are worse. And that's sad to say because as a Packer fan, we know that this team could and should be a good team. I'm not saying they're going and winning a Super Bowl back-to-back or even this year or going deep into the playoffs. Playoffs? We're just trying to score first downs. Playoffs? Last night's game ends. We just need 10 yards to get a first down. Just 10 yards. Right? We're on our side of the field. We just need 10 yards. We have 40 seconds left in the game with a chance to win. 40 seconds is an eternity with Love's arm. But we're not even in the panic mode yet. It's 40 seconds. It's 3rd and 10. Just get the 10 yards first. This team has so much trouble getting 10 yards to the point where they knew that and said, screw it, we're in Vegas, let's roll the dice. And they heaved it into the end zone. They heaved the ball into the end zone on a 40, 50-yard bomb that got intercepted. Game over. With 40 seconds left, and all you need is 10 yards. And you're having trouble even getting 10 yards the entire game. This entire season, you've been having trouble getting first downs. You think you're going to connect on 40 or 50? Love's got a beautiful arm. That arm is one of the best in the NFL. I said it. And I'll stand by that statement. Jordan Love has one of the best arms. The problem is his accuracy is for the birds. His accuracy is the blind leading the blind. If he needs 30, he's throwing it 50. If he needs 40, he's throwing it 20. It's either underthrown, it's overthrown, it's to the left, it's to the west. If Watson's standing in the red zone, Love is throwing it in the Pacific Ocean. But he's got the arm. But to think that he's going to connect on 40 or 50 yards to win the game? I know you're in Vegas. I know you're rolling the dice. I know even the management, even Coach LaFleur, understands that getting a first down is unrealistic with this Green Bay Packer team. So he was going to take 2 downs and throw it into the end zone. And that is the saddest part. That in that position, we have to do things like that and make calls like that. Sadly, we are all, as Packer fans this morning, faced with the realization. It pains me to say this, but it's the truth. The Packers are a bad team. They could and should be much better. Hopefully, when fully healthy and we get all our puzzle pieces back, maybe we'll be a little better, but we're not a good team. This is the Packers-Raiders review for Week 5 in the NFL. Let's get amplified. And before we break down quarters 1 through 4, and it's not going to take long, don't worry, because the Packers didn't do much last night against the Raiders, so there's not that much to talk about. But in case you're wondering of Love's line last night, Jordan Love, quarterback of the Packers, he completed 16 of 30 passes for 182 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, in the Packers' 17-13 loss. 16 of 30. That means half of the passes he threw were incomplete. That's unacceptable against a team like the Raiders. 182 yards for Jordan Love. Didn't even sniff 200. Against the Raiders. No touchdowns. 3 interceptions. I don't know many teams that are going to win a game with no touchdowns and 3 interceptions from their quarterback. A quarterback that doesn't even come close to 200 yards and fails to complete half his passes. That's what I mean. That's a poor performance and a half. And we're not just putting a blame on Jordan Love, but he is the leader of the offense. He's the one that sets the tone, the pace, establishes a rhythm. And this is an offense that has 0 rhythm. The Packers are painful to watch in 2023 because it's not even fun. That's the sad part. It's not even fun, right? There's losses where at least it was a fun game and you're like, oh, if we just did this and this, and you're actually angry because you're in it, right? You care so much. And while we care for sure, it's almost to the point where you're not even angry after these losses because you expect it. And when you expect this team to play this poorly, there's a problem in the Green Bay Packer organization, top to bottom. And it needs to be corrected. And Jordan Love is a big part of that. Now, you hope that this kid has a long career in Green Bay and we can cheer for him nonstop, rack up a couple, 2-3 Super Bowls in his career, and everybody lives happily ever after. That's the hope. You want success here because Jordan Love succeeds, we all succeed. But this is the Jordan Love that we saw in years past whenever he got a chance to play a few snaps, a few drives, full games. This is the Jordan Love we all said, I ain't seen nothing special. Now, yeah, it's only 5 weeks in BC. RELAX. That's fine. But a lot of the issues we're seeing, PANIC, panic. Because a lot of these issues, no, by now, he should absolutely have ironed out. That's not good. Especially against the Raiders. Anyway, it's a little bit of a side rant. Let me get a big swig of coffee. We'll come back and we're going to just dissect quarter 1 and all the way to quarter 4. And it's not going to take long. I assure you, the Packers didn't do much. So, yeah, just grab your beverage, kick your feet up, lock in your earbuds, and enjoy the review because, I'll entertain you, hopefully, but I'm going to give you no sugar-coated, no BS, full throttle honesty with this Packers game. 17-13, losing against the Raiders from Vegas. Big swig of coffee, let's dissect this game. So, right from the jump, on the very first drive, the Packers tried to establish their run game. Keyword, tried. Because unfortunately, they didn't run anywhere. It was a cycle of good news, bad news. The good news, they tried to put focus on their run game early. The bad news, it failed miserably. 50-yard line, brick wall, punt accordingly. Sound familiar? That's the Packers of 2023. Now, the saving grace, if there's any other good news to pick at, it's that the Raiders also couldn't get past midfield. They got to the 50, hit the brick wall, and punted accordingly. A big defensive stop. A big sack, actually, gave the ball right back to our offense pretty quickly. So, on the first couple of drives for the Packers and the Raiders, it's like a video game. They can't quite get to that next level. That 50-yard line was their kryptonite. So on the Packers' second drive, we made it a bit further, right? Just like a video game when you finally get to that next level. We got past the 50, and we almost made it into that red zone. We got it to about the 20, and we settled for a field goal. But we're getting closer, right? I mean, many video games. I haven't played video games in years and years. But when I did play, I do remember I never really beat the video game in one day. It took a while. Baby steps with the Packers of 2023. We made it to the 20. We got 3 points. Raiders' second drive. They get to the 50 again. They can't get to that next level of the video game. They're just trying to do what we did, right? Can we get to the 20 and maybe kick one of those field goal things? No, they get to the 50, and once again, our defense steps up. Another massive third down sack and subsequent punt for the Raiders. Back-to-back drives where they're at the 50 and the Packers come through big with a defensive sack. So, and that was the first quarter. That's basically how it ended. Maybe we had a couple plays on offense, but that was the first quarter. Each team with a couple of drives and not really doing anything with them, right? My first quarter analysis in my notes says as follows. Both teams were in the feeling each other out process and didn't get far. That's literally what I had in my first quarter analysis notes. Both teams were in the feeling each other out process and just didn't get far. So basically what you have here is two bad teams. As much as we love our Packers, it's clear, and even in our two victories, we're just not very good. We squeaked them out. The other two, you could have easily said we should have won, but we're so bad that we didn't. So it's becoming evident. At this point in the first quarter, I still don't want to admit it, but it's clear we're not a very good team because the Raiders are really bad in this game so far. And that's not shade to the Raiders. I'm sure their own fans would tell you that, just like we Packer fans have to face that reality this morning. We're not a good team. So the first quarter was rough to get through. 3 points only on the board. Thankfully, it's with the GBP. Now, for the second quarter, we just collapsed. There's no other way to say it, but that's the Packers of 2023. We've seen full quarters of just collapse. A quick punt, right from the jump, out of the gates in quarter two, we punted over to the Raiders. The Raiders then pretty much immediately score a touchdown, 7-3 in favor of the Raiders. Then Jordan Love throws an interception on our very next drive. Interception back to the Raiders. The defense is able to hold them to a field goal, but the damage is done, 10-3. Doesn't sound that damaging, right? It's only a touchdown, BC. But if you've watched the Packers this season, a touchdown is an eternity away. Getting a touchdown is asking these individuals to create a rocket to go up to space to perform open heart surgery. Oh, and you have 20 minutes to do all of it. It's not going to happen with this team. They're not building a rocket ship to get to space and perform open heart surgery in 20 minutes. Getting a touchdown with this Packer team, that's asking a lot. So when you have a 10-3 deficit in the second quarter and everyone's going, a lot of football to go. If you're a Packer fan, you're going, I hope we can get that touchdown. So, at this point, it's 10-3 Raiders. Pack then has an embarrassingly bad 3-and-out to end the half. Because that was the rest of the half, right? The Raiders ate up a lot of the clock, and the Packers just didn't do anything with their time. So our 3 and out, man, it was just embarrassingly bad. There's no other way to put it. Like, we were at midfield. It looked like Love was going to go for a Hail Mary. And instead, he tries to run a little bit, get out of bounds with a second left. It was clear there was no seconds left, right? If you're going to do that, you have to make sure that there's going to be at least a second left. You can't go out of bounds with 0 seconds left. That means there's no time left. And that means you're going to the locker room and you're not even going to give yourself a chance at the Hail Mary. And Love loves to throw the long ball, by the way. He loves throwing that Hail Mary. I understand what he was going for, and those are some of those growing pains, you know. He's going to understand time management. You got to believe he's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers at time management. Anybody that's watched this team throughout the whole Aaron Rodgers career here in Green Bay, much love and respect over to Rodgers and what he's done with us and being able to watch that dude play. But if there's one Achilles heel, if there's one thing that aggravated Packer fans to no end, it was the use of the clock from Aaron Rodgers, calling nonsensical timeouts when we needed them for the rest of the game. He'll be calling these things in the 3rd minute of the first quarter. He'll have no timeouts left by the time the second quarter begins. Same thing with the second half. By the 4th quarter, you'll have no timeouts left. And it's not the coach, it's Aaron Rodgers. Right? RELAX. And I'm like, no. PANIC. Panic, because we need those timeouts. Anyway, second half, just embarrassingly bad. We just could not get any rhythm. And that's the biggest thing. There was no pulse. There was no rhythm. There was no signs of life from this offense. And my second quarter analysis is kind of sad, right? This is what I literally have in my notes. Second quarter analysis, and I quote, "We are not a good football team." That's what I was feeling at the time while I'm dissecting this game and reviewing it for you guys and myself. That's what I put. That's what I was feeling. It's what I feel the next morning right now, cutting this upload for you. We are not a good football team. And by the way, defensively, we lost Quay Walker to a knee injury and Savage to a calf injury. 2 vital parts of our defense. Quay Walker has become our leader on defense. I don't know how that quietly happened, but it happened. And I'm down for it. The dude's a hard-hitting kid. As long as he can keep his dome piece right, not make any stupid decisions like he's done in the past. We're not going to go over that again, but you guys know. But if Quay Walker can keep his dome piece on straight, this dude's a hard-hitting, badass dude that can really change a football game. And a damn good leader from what I've seen. And then you lose Savage. I mean, you look at our backs on defense, and it's like, come on, man, that's one of our gems. Like, we can't take too much. Bakhtiari on offense. Aaron Jones isn't playing last night. Again, Aaron Jones, you're trying to establish a run game with no Aaron Jones, just our brick house, A.J. Dillon. Now, we love Dillon. Dillon is the brick house, but you need Aaron Jones if you're going to try to establish a run game. Again, Bakhtiari protecting Jordan Love. We don't have him either. We just got back Watson. Dobbs still is a little banged up. You have a lot of puzzle pieces not there. So you say, BC, we're going to get better when we get everybody together. Well, that's the hope, right? We're going to become a good football team when everybody comes together. But you're seeing little potholes here, right? Little divots here. Dug up ground here. You're seeing coaching flaws that are too extreme. You're seeing quarterback botches that cannot go unnoticed, need to be fixed yesterday, not wait another 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years because he's a rookie or it's his first real full year. No, some of these things have to be corrected now, yesterday. You're starting to see all these little things add up. And unfortunately, again, the second quarter ends, the first half ends, and my analysis is we are just not a good football team. Sad to say. But there's another half to play. I was going to say that's the good news. With this Packers team, I don't know if that's good news or not. Is it going to get more embarrassingly sad? Third quarter, defense comes up huge. Again, a massive interception that put us at Vegas's 40. That's the way you want to start a second half. But we've done this in the past. We come out in the third quarter. It's maybe we got a good hoorah speech. I don't see Coach LaFleur doing that, but maybe somebody made a good speech. We come out pretty hot in the third quarter, and then it stalls out like midway through. But our defense, big time interception, put us at Vegas's 40. I wish. You don't want to throw shade at the Raiders. Especially Jimmy G, right? I like the dude. I do. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good quarterback. But let's not act like they don't make these mistakes. I'm not taking anything away from our defense, but this is kind of, if you're a Packer fan, you expected these turnovers, right? I mean, you expected Jimmy G to get sacked several times. You expected a couple 2-3 interceptions. Maybe a fumble recovery or two. I mean, these are the ways you thought you were going to win this game, by a couple of touchdowns, bare minimum. Anyway, we got the interception. We got to the 40. Then we found a recipe for some success. Some. Give it to 28. Dillon, the brick house. He takes it inside the 10, then he grabs it again, and he takes it into the end zone. Recipe for success. When you get onto their side of the field, then you give it to Dillon. Maybe not so much on your side, right? Let's get a couple of quick, and I do mean quick with this team. First downs with some dinks and some danks. You ain't even got to throw it 15, 20 yards. A little 5 here, a little 6 here. Let the receivers run a couple 2-3 yards afterwards. Collect your first down. Get to their side of the field, and that's when I feel the running game is best with this team. So if we're viewing that, there's no way these coaches can't be seeing that. So we tapped into that. Now let's give it to Dillon. And that's how we scored our touchdown. I believe our only touchdown of the game. And at this point, it is 10-10. It is a tied ball game mid-third quarter. Dillon just catapulted into that end zone. Man, so good. When you have A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones as a 1-2 punch behind Love, that's viable. That's even lethal at times. Unfortunately, we haven't had that 1-2 punch the whole year. Or at least the bulk of the year. Really thought he was going to be in this game. But with the bye coming up, going into Denver, we have the nice long... Then again, we said that with Thursday Night Football. We had a few extra days to play this Monday Night Football game, and look how we played. I don't know if time off is the answer with this team. Maybe we got to put it to the boards, put them to the grind. Screw load management, which they call it in the NBA. Put them on the field every day, 2-3 times a day. Because I don't know if the time off is going to be good, but that's obviously how they're looking at it, right? Jones felt something. We're playing it safe. Because of the bye, we're going to keep Jones out. Well, what you did is you just cost yourself another game. Because in a game this close, even though both teams are playing so badly, Aaron Jones could be a difference maker. That's a side rant. We'll save that for another podcast. But the point is, at this point, it's 10-10. A.J. Dillon put it to the house, and it makes you wonder, if we had Aaron Jones, would there be more points on the board? Later in the quarter 3, Green Bay tacks on 3 more via another field goal, and that takes us to a 13-10 lead ending the third quarter. So we actually have a lead going into the fourth. But if you're a Packer fan, most of us anyway, we didn't feel too comfortable with that lead, did we? We weren't playing good football. And every time the Raiders were trying to give us a gift, like, listen, we don't want to score. Take this. We take the ball and we're like, well, we don't want to score either. You're making us put Dillon into the end zone? You didn't feel comfortable about this lead, and for good reason, because when it was all said and finished, we shouldn't have felt comfortable with this lead. This 3-point lead. Fourth quarter could not have begun any worse, as the Raiders punched in a running touchdown on the first play of the quarter. Think about that, right? You're starting the end of the game, the end of the fourth quarter. It just begins, and Raiders get a quick touchdown and take the lead. I would say the momentum flipped, but we never had it, guys. Even with a 13-10 lead, the Packers never had momentum. We never sniffed momentum in this game. So the Raiders score this touchdown, and before you know it, if you blinked, snapped your fingers, dropped your hat, by the time you looked up, score was different, and the Raiders took that lead, and they never looked back, 17-13. The Packers' next possession, Love throws another interception. And after a couple of volleys between both teams, because again, nobody wanted to score. No, you take it. No, punt, you take it. Oh, you're silly. Punt, you take it. So after a volley between both teams, clearly nobody wanted to score. With a minute and a half left in the game, a 4th and 1, Vegas decides to kick the field goal. Make the Packers have about a minute left and have to score a full touchdown. With us, that's a chore and a half. They knew that, so they were going to kick the field goal to make this 20-13. But they missed. And these are the Carlson brothers, by the way. Each field goal kicker, they're brothers. The Raiders and our Packers field goal kicker. Both are brothers. Their whole family was in the crowd. And this dude had a couple of misses last night for the Raiders. And you see the whole family, like, they're videoing it because they think he's going to make it, and they're all happy, and then they misses again, and they're like, no. A huge miss. Again, this is a situation where you would think we would feel good about it, right? We only need a touchdown. We have a minute and a half left. We're going to have the final touch on this. But as Packer fans, or at least the majority of us that have watched this season, we know we did not feel comfortable at all. We're just trying to get a first down at this point, guys. It was the old Mora commercial. Remember that? Oh, who was that? The commercial where they said, what about the playoffs? And he said, playoffs? We're trying to win a game. Playoffs? You want us to score a touchdown? We're just trying to get a first down. So when we have this ball after they missed the field goal, our side of the field, minute and a half left, which is an eternity with an arm like Love. I mean, he can catapult this thing 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. That's not the concern. The concern is we need to score a touchdown. Playoffs? Touchdown? And you're not thinking clearly. We got to get first downs. We have trouble, real problems getting first downs. 10 yards. If we can string together consecutive 10-yard gains, we just accomplished rocket science to space and open heart surgery, or at least the equivalent. It's that hard for us to string together first downs. So if you're a Packer fan, you didn't actually feel comfortable with this. You're glad he missed, and at least we have a chance. But you knew we probably were not scoring. It just wasn't happening, right? It's just the way our season is, the way this team is. You just don't feel confident that we're going to get the job done. But at least we had the chance. And in typical Packer form, we choked. We absolutely choked. And 3rd and 10 at the 40-yard line with 40 seconds left. I really want you guys to think about how this unfolded. So it's 3rd and 10. Still a couple of tries to get just the first down. 3rd and 10 at the 40. With 40 seconds left, an eternity. And they heave it into the end zone. They went for it all. Again, did the coaching staff, did this team, anybody, a suit and tie to the players themselves, did anybody not get the memo? We have trouble getting first downs, so let's heave it 50, 60 yards into the end zone. Maybe that's what they were thinking. There's no way we're getting... Coach LaFleur, there's no way that the numbers are cracked and there's no way we're getting first downs. We just can't do it as a team. So Coach LaFleur is like, well, let's just put it into the end zone a couple of times, right? Let's try our chances. It's Vegas. Let's roll the dice. It's a 3rd and 10. Just desperately try to get 10 yards. Start with that. You have 40 seconds. You don't need any timeouts with this. 40 seconds. You're already roughly midfield. You're good. Deep breath, get 10 yards. First and foremost, just get the first down, a new set of downs, so we can play around a little bit, and we can even spike the ball with one of those 4 downs. What a crazy concept. But instead, we heave it. And it's underthrown grossly. Watson can't run full speed because if he does, he's going to be out of the end zone. He knows that. He's running out of real estate. So he's going really slow. You can see it in slow-mo or fast-mo. He's going slow-mo. So he can't run full speed. Jordan Love underthrows, overthrows. He hits anything but his target on those long balls. And it sucks because he's got such a good arm. Love is really good at bombing the ball. Unfortunately, that's where the good stops. Actually zoning in on who his target is, he's not that good at it, man. 30, 40, 60, 70, doesn't matter. It's not reaching the receiver. So Watson is slowing up his roll. Love is underthrowing grossly the ball, and before you know it, it's intercepted in the end zone. Game over. And that's how the game literally ended. We never really even had a chance. You thought maybe they were going to choke, but maybe like in the red zone. Maybe they gave it their all, right? 4 downs, and they just got stopped. But couldn't even get to the red zone. Again, we couldn't get first downs. And I'm not just blaming Love, trust me. Musgrave and I think, who was it? Tusk. There was a couple of dropped balls. Butterfingers McGee and Butterfingers McGillicuddy back-to-back dropping balls. But they were not greatly thrown, Actually, the second one was a hard catch. He was kind of turning around because the ball was overshot. So it's a mixture of just everybody has to take a piece of the humble pie here. Take a piece of the blame pie. At this point, it's not even about blame. Just get right. This team has the capability to be good. We're not saying it's going to go and win a Super Bowl, but damn, we shouldn't be this bad, 2-3. And those 2 victories have an asterisk because there's a good chance you could have said, or many ways you could have easily said, that we shouldn't have even won those games, even though those teams were giving us the victories as well. How we have 2 victories, let's put it this way. How we have 2 victories right now is stunning to me. If you told me this team was 0-5, I'd believe you. I'd say, yeah, I would think so. Because we're not a good football team. And doing these Packers reviews, that's probably one of the worst things I could possibly say because it's one of the things I don't want to say. But this is a candid, very honest podcast about the Packers. And we suck. And that sucks because we don't suck. Make sense? We should be a lot better than this. And I know we're not fully healthy right now on the O side and the D side. But that's how good we should be. And we just can't find a pulse on offense. Our defense holds up to a point to help us out, and then they're just like, screw this, it ain't worth it. Or they're busting their backs and their asses so much that they get injured. Like Quay Walker and Savage. Our defense cannot hold the entire team on their back because eventually when that much weight is on someone's back, the back breaks. And that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, is the old saying. Too many weeks of the offense depending on the defense to get the ball back for them just so they do nothing. And then you repeat the repetitive process and it's a vicious cycle. My name's BC Amplified. This has been the Packers Week 5 review against the Raiders. Another bad team that spanked us, whooped our ass, took the W and sent us home with an L. Just the way that it is. Raiders defeat the Packers in Week 5. We will now have a bye. We will come back on the 22nd of October, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. game. I don't know if that's Eastern Time, Pacific Time, Central Time, all the time. I don't know when that is. It's a afternoon game, I believe, for East Coast. But that'll be the Denver Broncos on the 22nd, guys. So this is a full bye week. Go get healthy. Get the Joneses back. We lost Bakhtiari for the year. Let's be honest. I don't know what's up with this dude. Let's try to get Quay Walker back. Savage. It's the little pieces to some, but they're actually big. These are big pieces to the puzzle. We need everybody right. We need Coach LaFleur to be Coach LaFleur. An actual coach in the National Football League, not the Pee Wee division, not some middle school team in the middle of the country. We need him to step up and start taking this team to where they should be. At least, bare minimum after 5 games, a winning record. And we don't have that right now. 3 losses to 2 victories. Take the bye week. Again, I'm not so confident in the bye week because we just had a few extra days because our last game was Thursday night football. Then the next game, Monday night football. Do the math. That gives you 4 extra nights. And look what we did with those 4 extra nights. So now you're going to go and give us, do I even want to know? 13. So what do you got? 6 extra nights. Oh, Maron, are we going to get blown out by Denver? The Broncos from Denver? BC Amplified, this has been your Packers review, week 5. We love our Packers. Go, Pack, go. I know I was harsh at times in this review, but that's just, you gotta be, man. There's no sugarcoating this. These are, a lot of these mistakes are simplistic. A lot of these botches, a lot of these holes in their game can be fixed, can be filled. Like immediately. It doesn't take that much time. Do that and you can win these games. The worst part, guys, is these are easily winnable games. And I mean easily. Guys, in this game, which was the 3rd game of the year so far, that a team has tried to give us the ball because they don't want to score, and we volley it right back to them time after time. That's what I mean by easy victory. Even being a bad team like the Packers are, we still could have and should have won this game. Somehow we came out worse than the Raiders. Till next time, we'll be covering the Packers-Broncos week 7, 6th game for us on the 22nd. So I believe on that night will be your next Packers review. Hope to see you guys then, man. Stop in, say what's up, smash that up, do all the things down below. I appreciate you guys big time. To my Packers universe out there, man, my entire Packers unit, much love and respect. We'll do this again soon. Until next time, top guys, we're out. BC saying check you.